All right, so we are here today on a very special episode of Previously on Forbidden Lands. This is the 10th episode, the decaversary, if you will, of our recaps. It's blossomed into a beast all its own, doubling up on the specialness that we have for you today, is the fact that we are joined by the Black Veil. He's the game master, he is the supreme god being of the Forbidden Lands, and personally, I thought that we'd never have him on the show, but here he is.
Hello, Spenny. It is I, the Black Veil.
Wow, you sound a little bit robotic there, Veil.
Do not worry, it is just a cold.
Oh, well, I'm glad you still felt up to being on the podcast here with us. I didn't believe you'd actually ever want to appear on something that had such low production qualities.
I frankly did not. You and your Yeti are played out and roomy. Ha ha ha.
Ouch, okay. Throwing some shade here, brother. I kind of thought that we were sort of homies.
We were, until you tried to kill me. Now it will be total party kill all day every day. You have doomed your friends.
Jesus. Yeah, if I had known that, I would have never given you that cigar, or anything, for that matter.
Whatever. Let's just get this over with.
Fine. So usually we have the guest do a bit of background on their character, but in this case it's kind of different because you play every single character that the players do not play. Everyone in the Forbidden Lands is pretty much done via the commanding range of your skills. Great plethora and great ambiance there.
Ha! It's like my saying goes. I always err on the side of cool.
Yeah, and that phrase really stuck with me from session 0. You really do bring the cool factor and heavily immerse your players. Speaking of your legendary immersion, why don't you drop that sweet recap?
So, they've been hiking through the wilderness at the behest of Nervea, medicine woman turned raven sister, away from the village of the Hollows and into the depths of a nearby forest, the Shroud. They are in search of Nervea's sister, Veril de Bloodbeak, one of the most powerful raven sisters currently alive, who is said to have once been a priestess of Hem, the bloody goddess and wife of Rust, the deity of the Rust Brotherhood, before she had an epiphany that caused her to turn towards Raven. So, they discover her camp in the mountains in the heart of the Shroud, and Nervea finds a message indicating she believes a nearby cave they discovered, which had a Rust brother meandering around. Outside may have clues regarding Stanengist, an ancient, elven relic of immense power. So, they go to the cave, discover from road-eyed Joe, who was left to watch, that the Rust brother disappeared into the cave while the party went in search of Verilda's camp. So they decide to send German, the sorcerer, alone into the cave because he was raised partially in the Rust Brotherhood and even bears a massive scar of Hem's symbol on one arm. Upon entering, German discovers that the cave quickly goes from natural to carved and realizes that it was done so with sorceress magic. He confronts the Rust brother, succeeds in convincing him that he is a friend, but when he starts asking too many questions, he expends a spell he had previously carved into his body to paralyze the guard in an attempt to intimidate him. This doesn't work, and German is forced to kill the guard in cold blood, who is totally aware but incapable of moving. The rest of the party joins. They descend the stairs and enter a corridor at the base of the staircase and find that after a few feet it's covered in placid water. There is a shape at the far end, just outside of what appears to be an open doorway. They are moving by torchlight at this point as they move down the length of the hall, led by German, who was pissed that he had to kill someone in cold blood. The sorcerer plummets below the ankle-deep water very suddenly into a concealed spike pit and is broken when he's pierced by the spikes. Cue about 60 seconds of in-game utter confusion, terror and chaos. Thrakar the Laura dwarf, Spenny, nabs the helmet from the dead guard and tosses it with all his might at the shape at the far end of the hull. Hitting it, there's a splash as the helmet rolls into the water and the shape on the surface shifts slowly back and forth as if angered and waiting for them to make a misstep. Meanwhile, Rotide shapeshifts into a crocodile, sparking a magical mishap and nearly losing himself to the alien mind of the creature, and swims down to grab German's drowning Swiss cheese body and pulls it towards the surface, where Thrakar reaches in and helps pull them all back up. The dwarf, Nervea, and Venaris, the human guard, all tend to German's wounds, with Venaris leading the efforts, and they patch him up well enough to get him back on his feet. Aware of the pitfall, they leap across to the other side of the hall successfully, where the carved walls are broken on both sides by skeletons submerged in the stone. Still the shape looms at the end of the hall. The road eagle swims through the water to attack the shape, which seems totally unbothered by it and cracks and crushes beneath the power of his jaws. Then the others run up to hit the terrifying mess only to find it's the dead body of an enormous insectoid creature the size of a man. A sharp, pungent odor wafts in the humid air and, glistening in the torchlight of the room just beyond, they see 5 shapes standing in the calf-deep water. They are each muttering to themselves in such a way that no one word is audible or intelligible. Without warning, Venaris and Rodide, as a crocodile, charges into the room, Nervea and the others just behind them, and the guard swings his sword at one of the figures, who turns out to be a living insect man. As his sword arcs to strike, it looks at Venaris with alien, multifaceted eyes and mutters through its mandibled mouth, straining to form words alien to its anatomy and mind: murder. Then we drew initiative with Venaris and Rodide face to face with 3 of the insect men, 2 more turning to see, and a 6th, previously unseen member of their clutch, seated in the water in a corner, rocking back and forth as if traumatized. Let's just say it didn't go well. But they discovered that the room was coated in what looked like a gigantic version of a wasp's nest, with water about calf-high, and bodies floating around in the water, one of which belonged to a dead Rust brother.
Wow. It's like I was really there. Just hearing all that makes the hair on the back of my beard stand up.
That is why I am the best. That in my dope-ass microphone.
Valid point. And to all the listeners out there, please check out our sponsor, Adorama.com, and request the Black Veil Bundle, where you can get the exact microphone setup that Veil uses at the show at a great, great low price. Use the coupon HipsterBeer. That's all caps, HipsterBeer, HIPSTERBEER, to get 20% off your order and free shipping.
You think it is the hardware that makes me great? Spenny, you really are dense.
Okay, wow, I'm a little kind of surprised with the with all the anger, and this is just about as bad as last week's episode when German went total OJ on that Rust brother.
You know why I'm angry? I'm angry because you haven't bothered to watch The Lord of the Rings.
Look, I told you, I have seen Lord of the Rings. It's just that I saw them in reverse order because the guy I thought was my friend duped me into watching them that way because he said that the last one sounded the best on his sound system. It was a ruse, and I feel bad, and you guys all last episode just sort of flipped shit on me on that.
Such a simpleton.
A simpleton? Really? Could a simpleton concoct an award-winning podcast that's received press from so many RPG blogs?
Name one.
Well...
Exactly. You should just quit this. It was funny the first episode. It's just painful now, and we all have to pretend to laugh just to make you not too sad to play.
Damn. Okay. Wow, you're really hitting hard today. And speaking of hitting, there's been some serious commotion on the FLZ message boards about combat being a bit clunky and the main characters not being very effective within the system, which is leading to some frustration on the series.
The system is perfectly fine. Maybe the players should step it up, learn how to play, and see if they can survive in the big bad world outside of the Hollows.
I don't even know how to respond to that. That's just kind of rude.
Just like when you play Throcker. Nothing to say. No participation. Just sleeping. Snooze.
Okay, asshole. Back on topic, the characters have really found themselves in a pickle. German's committed murder, then almost nearly died himself, and the group's now ended up in combat with a kind of alien-like insectoid race that the viewers aren't even sure was hostile to begin with. Do you think we may see our first on-screen player death next episode?
There is a 100% probability that someone will die next episode.
Okay, Vale R.R. Martin here with the predictions. Any idea who it could be? The whole group is in trouble, but surely some of them can survive, right?
Frankly, Spenny, after having to sit through listening to this podcast, they are going to be begging me to put them out of their misery.
You know what? I'm done. Fine. You win, okay? We're gonna wrap this up. Anyway, what will happen next? Will Venaris drown in ankle-deep water after his exhaustion consumes him? Will Srodid remain as a crocodile and live out his days in relative peace? Will Vale suddenly gain a heart and take mercy on the players? Will Gearman train to become a battle mage after encountering these resilient ant-men? Will
Throkar is going to die. One of the ant-men will strangle him with his own beard.
Damn it, Vale, what the shit?
Watch the Stumpy One die on another exciting episode of Forbidden Landsy.